Yo, what up, though? We back at it again. Your boy, Street Coder Nate, and I'm gonna teach y'all the street code. Okay, so today what we getting into is HTML structure. Basically, how is HTML structured in general, and then how do you structure it inside of your program so that it flows well. And so what is HTML? All of this jazz. We about to finally get into programming. Yup, we made it. Set up your program, or set up your desktop, your dev environment. You understand how to work the file explorer and all of that stuff on a Windows machine, and then the Finder app on the Mac. And now, and then in the previous video, I showed y'all the web architecture and the client server request response model. Now, with that in the back of our brains, we about to start taking a look at what is HTML. So we're getting right into the code. You see that? We are about to code. We're going to code today. So let's tap in and see how we gonna get started. So let's hop over here into this browser real quick and let's take a look. What is HTML? So I'm just gonna look that up actually. Like, what is HTML? What is it look like I already started looking it up. What is HTML? And like what I like to do, I'll zoom in over here real quick, make sure y'all can see that. All right, so the hypertext markup language, or HTML. So here we go, hypertext markup language. Hypertext markup language, or HTML, is the standard markup language for documents designed to be displayed in a web browser. Okay, here we go again, this phrase, markup language. This is something we're gonna have to research. I'm into researching and figuring out what everything means. So we have this phrase, hypertext markup language, and so we're going to mark up, or this language is supposed to help us mark up some stuff, hypertext. So it's some hypertext, and we're marking up something. It's still confusing even in the name. So we got HTML. It can be assigned by technology such as cascading style sheets, which is another word, which is the long phrase for CSS, and then scripting languages such as JavaScript. And so basically what that just said was HTML is a hypertext markup language, and it can be connected, or is a hypertext markup language that is used on web browsers that can be connected with CSS and JavaScript. That's basically what I've been telling y'all this whole time. But that gives y'all no direction at all. You're like, okay, what does that still mean? And I've been there before, because honestly in class the professor be like, this is what this is, and then you move on, and then they move on, you be like, all right, bro, you smoking that good shit, because I still don't understand what you talk about. So I'm about to go a little deeper, because I ain't gonna do y'all like that. So what is HTML? What is a simple definition of HTML? Let's see if we can if they give us a better one. Is a set of markup symbols or codes inserted into a file intended for display on the internet. The markup tells web browsers how to display a web page's words and images. So this definition is a lot better. So and I like the last sentence. The markup tells web browsers how to display a web page's words and images. So if you think about a website, shit, let's look at this website. You think about a website, display pages, words and images. What's on the website? Words and images. That's all we seeing right now. Maybe we see this video, but this video is actually just an image, and then it got some preview going on. So honestly, words and image. So let's take a step back. So this says HTML is how we display words and images. So HTML is the way that we put words and images and videos and anything that you see on a web page, any physical thing that you see here, all of these different elements, these are all HTML elements. Now this is essential because these all are reflected back inside the code. So inside that code, in order to do, like, let's say this tag right here inside the code, this is inside the code, this is what we call an A tag. This is a anchor tag, and that's a HTML type of element. And so we're gonna get into those elements pretty soon. But what I wanted to introduce you to was, what is HTML real quick. So this is HTML, hypertext markup language. This is how we put things onto a web page. So how we put our words and whatnot onto a web page. Cool. Let's see if we can get one more. What is HTML for beginners? Let's see. HTML, hypertext markup language. Once again, hypertext markup language is what HTML is. That's what the name stands. That is what the name is, or means when you break it up. That is what the acronym is when you break it down. Hypertext markup language is the language used for creating web pages and other web-based documents. It consists mainly of matching pairs of angle bracket tags, enclosing sections of human meaningful text. Okay, so what does that mean? That gets us a little deeper into the technical side of HTML on some real, because when you think about it, before we were just really describing what it's doing, like it's putting words and images on the screen. But now it's saying, okay, HTML consists of mainly matching pairs of angle bracket tags. Hold up, one, that's a mouthful in itself. Hold up. Mainly matching pairs of angle bracket tags. So what does that mean? Mainly matching pairs of angle bracketed tags, enclosing sections of human meaningful text. So what I'm going to do is go deeper into that by jumping into W3 schools. Now, if you know me, you know that I said I learned HTML in about 10 minutes. And the reason I learned HTML in about 10 minutes is because I came to W3 schools and I saw all of this right here on the side, and I said, y'all got me fucked up if y'all think I'm about to try to learn all of this real quick. So I didn't. What I decided to do was think about what HTML actually is. So instead of me, and actually I'm gonna read this because W3 Schools has a great explanation on what HTML is, but instead of me going through all the elements, after that I'm gonna show y'all a quick trick to getting that HTML knowledge for y'all. So HTML is the standard markup language for creating web pages. It is the standard. Almost every web developer knows how to put some HTML onto a web page. It's actually the easiest part, if you want to ask me. It's the easiest part to make it in the web page. Okay, so HTML stands for Hypertext Markup Language. We already knocked that out. Cha-ching, cool. All right, HTML is standard markup language for creating web pages. All right, tell me something I don't know. Y'all gonna say the same things, or are we gonna get to something new? HTML describes the structure of a web page. So this is new. It describes the structure. So structure, what is structure? HTML consists of a series of elements. So you have all the it consists of a series of elements. So what does that mean? You have element. What is a series? This is just a whole bunch of things together, and it said it consists of a bunch of elements. So it just got these different series. You might have a series here, a series here, a series here, and this series has a bunch of elements. This series has a bunch of elements, and this series has a bunch of elements. But what are these elements? These elements, once again, we getting back to it. These elements are going to describe, my bad, Siri acting up. These elements are literally going to describe the web page. And so when I say describe the web page, how are we describing a web page? We describe it with text and images. So these series of elements, these are series of text and images. And if we come back, like now let's look at this web page. If we look at this web page and we think about the HTML, there are series of text and images. Like, oh, maybe a series is like a grouping. Think of a series as a grouping. And if you come over here to this left side, you see this grouping on the left. This is the left nav bar, and then you got this top part right here. You what is HTML? This is probably a grouping, and it has its text and it has a list and bullets. So HTML is basically grouping a whole bunch of these different series together. Okay. Or is the group HTML when you create an HTML web page is just is one major group that has a whole bunch of groups in it that have different elements, and those elements being text, images, hypertext, and all the other stuff. Okay, so HTML elements tell the browser how to display the content. So it tells how to display the content. So you could say, in a way, is like you could say, would this looks totally different than this, right? And this is probably because they used a header tag, an HTML header tag here, and they probably used a paragraph tag here. And we'll get into that a little bit more in a second. HTML elements label pieces of content such as this is a heading, this is a paragraph, this is a link. And I kind of just said that like 10 seconds earlier. But basically, HTML allows us to say, or allows us to structure, or let's say tell the browser how to display the content, literally, like right above it. It literally tells the browser how to display the content by saying, I want this one to be a header. I want this to be a paragraph, whatever I want it, wherever I'm trying to put on the browser, or I want this to be a link. And so when I take a look at a simple HTML document, this is a simple HTML document right here. And every HTML document should start off with this tag. These are tags in HTML. Pretty much like a tag has a less than sign and a greater than sign, like these, like that. That's what the tag look like. Sometimes you'll probably see this all over the place, and it'll have a slash in it, and it's trying to talk about HTML. This is a tag, and in between that tag, the element name goes. So here you'll see like doc type HTML. We don't really use this too often. Like if you come down here, it'll explain it. It says the doc type HTML declaration defines that the document is an HTML5 document. That's basically all it is. Just know, throw this at the top of each document and you good. Okay, cool. That's all I did. That's all I know about. I ain't like, and pretty much it's for the browser. So when the browser get the HTML file, the browser be like, oh, this is an HTML file. Let me show it like HTML, or let me show it like this instead of like this, right? Because my text editor doesn't say show this like, or show this HTML, because if we inspect it, we once again remember that this HTML is literally the same HTML here. My bad. Let me just go to the the element right here. You see, as I'm highlighting over all of these things are highlighting. This because it's highlighting the specific elements, but you can see that these are the HTML. But and it lives here. But the browser is real cool because it read that first line and said doc type is a HTML, so I'm going to make it all pretty and stuff. I'm going to show the colors and stuff like that. So that's what the doc type is used for right away. And then in my eyes, I think it's kind of a little redundant, but it ain't redundant. This is where it says this is where the HTML starts. So the HTML tag right here, this kind of pretty much says this is where the HTML starts. Like here it says the root element of the HTML page. And so HTML elements typically have an opening element like this, and then a closing element. So when we go back, what it say? It said something about pairs. Consists of series. I think one of them, and I was explaining earlier, was talking about pairs of stuff. Let me actually, if I could scroll back, and it says something about a pair. What is the simple definition? It tells how to describe. Is this the one for beginners? Yes, here we go. Mainly consisting of matching pairs of angle bracketed tags. So now we can kind of see angle bracketed because you saw those angle bracketed tags. And the tags is the names that they put inside of them. And then they have matching pairs. So let's go investigate what they mean by matching pairs. Over here is that you have this HTML opening, and then you have this HTML closing. This is the matching pairs, and everything in between those matching pairs go inside of the HTML file. So this is what's all loaded inside the HTML file. So we say this is an HTML file. The HTML starts here and then it ends here. Anything that happens to come after this HTML tag will not show up in your document on the web page. So everything that you want to be shown up, best believe it better come between these HTML page tags, or it's not showing up, dog. So all right, cool, got that down. Now you know angle bracketed. Matching, what does it say? It said it consists mainly of matching pairs of angle bracketed tags. It consists mainly of matching pairs of angle bracketed tags. We understand what that means, and mainly shows that not all tags are going to be matching. Not all tags are going to be matching. So there are going to be some that don't have a matching tag. And if you go back, honestly, you look at the doc type one, you'll see that the doc type doesn't have one to match with it. But you see HTML here has an HTML closing tag, head has a closing head tag, body has a closing body tag, title has a closing title tag. They're matching, they paired up, right? Okay, so let's get into the head. What is the head? So the head is this is the beginning of the website. And so we typically do not see what's inside of the head on a website. So what do I mean by that is that like everything that we see on a website goes in between the body tag. And so you have this head tag that's like this that we don't see. We don't see this stuff up here, but we have this body tag that we see all this other stuff. And so why do we use this head tag? So let's see here. The head tag element contains meta information about the HTML page. So meta information, what does meta mean? So meta, I can just actually, let's do some research real quick. Define meta. Meta meaning is a prefix meaning more comprehensive or transcending. That didn't give, what is meta? Meta is a word which, like so many other things, we have the ancient yada yada Greek. Meta meant beyond, after, or behind. The beyond sense of meta still lingers in words like metaphysics or meta economy. I'm looking for a different definition. Let me just say metadata. Okay, a set of data that describes and gives information about other data. So this is what the HTML tag or the head tag is. It's the meta information. And I said metadata, but you could say meta information. So basically what meta means, meta is something that describes itself. It goes beyond. This is beyond the information. This is, so you have the information, but then you have the information that describes the information, if that makes sense. So here's the web page. Here's the web page. This is what the web page looks like. But then inside the head, we'll say the title of this web page is this. And these are the links to this web page, and this is what this web page is about. This is where you'll throw your SEO stuff at. Like, you don't really see all that stuff. Actually, let's kind of go back to Google real quick. This is where you would put, actually, think about it. Let me look up myself. Nate Baker, coder, something like that. That should show up. Cool. So natebaker.me. And shoot. All right. All right, anyway, so this part right here, this is the part where it will show up in the in the metadata, in a tag, in a header tag. Like this is the part that's showing up, but this is actually some more of my other stuff that's showing up. But if I put Nate Baker coding instructor, something like that, yeah, like that. Actually, let me just go like this because this should show it too. My SEO not the best. Okay. My LinkedIn, that's not even me. It's a white man. My SEO not the best. Okay, Nate Baker. I do what I do. Nate Baker code. Yeah, code tutor. There we go. Nate Baker code tutor. Okay, cool. And so you see all the paid ones come up, but then you have this one right here. Uh, that's my website, and it has basically my metadata on it. So basically your metadata, this stuff right here that comes up on Google, this is what's going to be in your head. I also got some stuff on LinkedIn, it looks like, but that but this is LinkedIn like metadata and stuff. And so a lot of times you won't see the metadata on the page, but sometimes you may see the metadata on the page. It really depends on like the person that's developing and whatnot. But it really just describes what was happening. A service would highly recommend. So here, just the metadata just describing what's going on the page, and Google actually uses that metadata in ranking of your SEO. As you can see, whenever I put Nate Baker coding, I'm like top. Like there's no other Nate Baker coders out here. And so, but if I just put Nate Baker, I gotta do way more for my SEO to be at the top. But Nate Baker tutor or code tutor, Nate Baker code, I will always come up at the top because there's not too many other Nate Bakers out here coding. And I did my SEO right inside of that header tag. Okay, we're coming up on 20 minutes, or we are at 20 minutes, 21 minutes to be exact. So you know what? I'm gonna just call it quit right here. And this basically in this video, what we went over was basically the basic structure of HTML. Like what is HTML, how to use it, described it, got some examples, got some definitions, and really took a look at W3 schools. In this next video, we're gonna continue this HTML talk. We're gonna go a little deeper, and then we really gonna start knocking out some HTML pretty soon. So I appreciate y'all stopping by. Once again, drop a like, drop a follow on my Instagram, drop a like on the video and a subscription. Hit me up in the comments, let me know what's up, let me know if I'm explaining this stuff right. I want to show y'all how I do my research and how I understand things. Like I just don't look at the word HTML and be like, okay, it's hypertext language, because that don't mean shit to me. I have to really break that down and be like, hypertext, okay, so this means this is putting the text in the images on the web page. It also letting me put it in a way I can also structure it. I can group these elements together. I'm starting to get some understanding just by trying to understand that one word. You feel me? So we're gonna keep going and going deeper and deeper, and we're really gonna get a great grasp of computer science by the time, or for front end development by the time this series ends. So fuck with your boy and get with me, dog. All right, I'm out of here. Peace. I gotta get better at that. I'm out of here. Peace.